Borja Mayoral and Dom Dwyer traded goals during regulation of the MLS All-Star Game at Soldier Field in Chicago on Wednesday, and Real Madrid joined the All-Stars in penalty kicks. Lucas Zidane stopped Dwyer's opening penalty kick and Giovanni Dos Santos cranked the second MLS All-Stars PK off the crossbar as Real Madrid topped the All-Stars 42 in the shootout. Mayoral was named the match's MVP. More Neymar to make $1 million per week at PSG. There were two painful moments in the first 10 minutes. First, Atlanta United defender Greg Garza separated his shoulder. Then Graham Susi stamped down Theo Hernandez's shin and onto his foot in what looked even worse upon replay. Tim Howard was the star of the first half as Real Madrid held possession deep in the MLS All-Stars half, relegating the home side to counter-attacks. Marco Asensio tried to chip Howard just after the half-hour mark, but the Colorado Rapids backstop swatted the shot in NBA fashion. The All-Stars finally produced an A-plus chance in the 36th minute, as Kaká found David Villa only to see Keylor Navas parry the New York City FC Mont's shot out for a corner that Real defended well. Sergio Ramos joined the group of Spaniards trying to chip Howard with a goofy offering when played on goal in the 43rd minute, but the shot sailed over the goal. Sebastian Giovinco has a sense of the occasion, and nearly hit a gorgeous, swerving rocket past Navas as the match reached halftime. Full-scale changes met the second half's start, and the game felt a lot more wide open. Editorial note: Theo Hernandez looks as smooth as necessary to play for a side like Real. Mayoral's goal appeared class, with Aaron Ongrana caught out of position, but turned out to be a deflection that caught Stefan Fry unaware. Either way, 10 in the 59th minute, 20-year-old Borja Mayoral is the third youngest scorer in an MLS All-Star game, behind Federico Macheda 18, Landon Donovan 19. Paul Carr at Piqueras. On August 3, 2017, Zinedine Zidane then rolled out some impressive subs in the forms of Marcelo, Gareth Bale, and Karim Benzema. Marcelo played an incredible left-footed pass for his first move, while both Benzema and Bale tempted the goal within minutes of entering the match. Nemanja Nikolic looked to have made it 11 off a break in the 70th minute, but it was an optical illusion as his shot splashed off the outside of the net. Dwyer did equalize with a 87th-minute header on the doorstep after Diego Valera's corner kick was headed off the post by Dax McCarty, pinballed off Kellyn Acosta's arm and onto the noggin of the Sporting KC Orlando City man. Lucas Zidane had little chance, even considering he got a paw on the ball. Editorializing again, I'm happy to admit that the match surpassed my expectations for entertainment, even if I no longer love the format. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Weather meant the NASL-USL showdown in the quarter-finals of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup was played well after the other three semi-finalists had been decided on the pitch. The NASL's Miami FC was at home for Wednesday's quarter-final against the USL's FC Cincinnati, but that didn't help the outcome as FCC did its job as visitors in the first half before finding a winner in the second. Senegalese striker Djiby Fall kept up his rampant season with a close-range goal as FCC advances to host MLS side New York Red Bulls on August 15. More latest on Neymar. Fall has 14 goals in 18 appearances for FCC. The other semi features Sporting KC and the San Jose Earthquakes, and will be played on August 9. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. An ongoing shift in women's soccer has been apparent at the Tournament of Nations, not on the field but on the sidelines. 3 of the 4 teams participating in the international event have female coaches, a rare majority in soccer. A year ago, the 2 teams playing for the gold medal at the Rio Olympics were both led by women, Sweden's Pia Sundhage and Germany's Sylvia Need. And Jill Ellis led the U.S. national team to the Women's World Cup title in Canada the year before. More latest Neymar news. Ellis and others in the sport believe that recent events show women are making important and necessary gains in soccer, but there's more work to be done. I think it's forward-thinking federations that are about hiring competent coaches but also willing to provide opportunities, Ellis said. I know we've recently hired technical advisors for our academies and they're all female and I think that's great. We've got to have more coaches out there and more role models for young coaches. I think it's great. The inaugural Tournament of Nations concludes on Thursday night in Carson, California. The U.S. women rallied from a 31 deficit to beat Brazil 43 on Sunday in San Diego and will face Japan in the tournament's final match. U.S. Soccer hopes to host the tournament each summer that there isn't a World Cup or Olympic competition. In addition to Ellis, Emily Lima is the new coach for Brazil and Asako Takakura manages Japan. The only male coach in the event is Australia's Alan Stachik. Lima and Takakura are former players who are relatively new to their teams. Lima took over Brazil last fall following the Olympics, and Takakura was appointed after Japan failed to make the field for Rio. Both are the first female coaches for their teams. Another sign of a possible culture shift in the sport: 5 of the top 10 teams in FIFA's world rankings are coached by women. The trend has not been lost on Moya Dodd, a former Australian national team standout and vice president of the Asian Football Confederation, who has been a vocal advocate for women's soccer. When given the opportunity, women coaches are phenomenally successful. All but one of the World Cups, Olympic golds and Euros in women's football since 2000 have been won by female coach teams, Dodd said, adding that's 11 of 12 tournaments at the sport's highest level. More Liverpool's potential UCL playoff opponents. However, Dodd said any shift is far less apparent below the senior national team level and at the club level, where female coaches are scarcer. For example, among the 10 National Women's Soccer League teams, there's just one female head coach, Laura Harvey of the Seattle Reign. Dodd also points to the NCAA, where the number of women coaches has dropped. A recent study of women's collegiate teams by the University of Minnesota gave soccer a D grade, with just 26.2% of teams with female coaches in 201,617, a drop from the previous season. In the USA, the percentage of female college athletes coached by women has halved since Title X was introduced. It seems that women face barriers that grow higher as women's sports become bigger, Dodd said. In an email exchange with the Associated Press, Dodd added that she sees unconscious bias as one of the biggest obstacles women must overcome. The characteristics that are seen as assets in a male coach being tough, having strong opinions, or yelling at players. Like Alex Ferguson's famous backquote hairdryer treatment would characterize a woman as difficult, emotional, or hysterical, she wrote. Yet if she is motherly and caring, she doesn't fit the definition of a coach. In other words, gender stereotypes work against her at both ends. At the UEFA Women's European Championship, there are 6 women coaches among the 16 teams that took part. Of the 4 teams playing in Thursday's semi-finals, England, the Netherlands, Denmark and Austria, one has a female head coach, Sarina Wegman, Netherlands. The Women's Euros are played every 4 years as the premier competition in the UEFA Confederation. In the last edition, 4 of the 12 teams were coached by women. Japan's Takakura gave added perspective: when it comes to female coaches, they should be treated the same as men. From my point of view, I think it's good news to have female coaches, she said through a translator. But as a coach, the gender doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if it's a he or a she. As a coach, you have to educate and develop your players. Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber shared some expansion team news in his pre-All-Star Game news conference on Wednesday. Garber said David Beckham's Miami project had made strong moves toward a summer announcement, and that the group has a new majority owner in Los Angeles Dodgers co-owner Todd Boehly. If you're scratching your head and saying, didn't MLS already announced that Miami would get an expansion team? Well, time is a flat circle. More Liverpool's potential UCL playoff opponents. Garber also said MLS will only add 4 more expansion teams, which is baffling without further explanation. How can the United States and Canada be capped at 28 top-flight teams? We know Garber is against promotion relegation, but capping the number of MLS teams essentially guarantees that rival leagues will strengthen and grow. Update: Garber said on the FS1 broadcast that the cap was 28 in my tenure as commish in order to focus on nurturing the markets who have just birthed franchises. Maybe that doesn't bother Garber, but it should concern his owners. Let's say MLS adds 4 top USL or NASL teams as expansion sides, and well, pinpoint FC Cincinnati, Nashville FC, Sacramento Republic, and Indy 11. Please don't be upset if I left your team out of the discussion. These were simply the first ones that leapt to mind. That means that Garber would be willing to leave some massive markets out in the cold: Detroit, San Diego, San Antonio, North Carolina, to name a few. Not smart, not probable, not happening. More likely his original cap was 24 teams, so it's almost certain that he's simply trying to keep desperation and exclusivity the name of the game. He's a smart businessman and marketer. It's probably as simple as that. Garber on expansion refers to the 4 last expansion teams. So 28 is a hard final number, apparently. Andrew Doss night August 2, 2017. Garber says Beckham made presentation to MLS board today for first time. Time is right, finally, for Miami to become MLS City. Andrew Doss night August 2, 2017. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Of the 5 Premier League clubs in pre-season action Wednesday, only one was at home. And Southampton did not have a good day. More Neymar money by the numbers. Liverpool fells in the Audi Cup final on penalties, while Newcastle and Bournemouth cruised on the road and Manchester United won late at Sampdoria. Wolfsburg 13 Newcastle United. Rafa Benitez Magpies looked good in beating Bundesliga opposition on the road behind goals from Alexander Mitrovic, Matt Ritchie, and Christian Atsu, three decent parts of the club's Football League Championship title. Liverpool 11:45 Pens Atletico Madrid. Roberto Firmino's late penalty gave the Reds a chance to win the Audi Cup, but Jordan Henderson was the only taker of 10 to miss a PK as Atleti claimed the honours. Sampdoria 12 Manchester United. Nemanja Matic made his Red Devils debut in the first half, and Henrik Mkhitaryan used that period to give United a lead it would give back. But Juan Mata snared an 81st minute winner ahead of Tuesday's UEFA Super Cup against Real Madrid. Yeovil Town 13 Bournemouth. A Benicafobie double joined Elise Moose at goal as the Cherries tuned prepared for their final pre-season match, a visit from mighty Napoli, with an easy enough road win. Southampton 0-4 Augsburg. Yes, 40. Yes, at home. Yes, Saints are quickly moving on from that to a visit from Sevilla on Saturday. Follow at Nicolas Mendola.